Welcome back to Heart of the Woods. Last episode, a lot of things happened. Madison and Abigail became a couple. So they're now ghost girlfriends. And then they discovered that the forest is sick. We found that the oldest tree, the heart, had been destroyed by Evelyn. And a deer died. And we got to pretend to be a fairy queen for a while. And then we started to realize that we're piece by piece starting to disappear. Our existence is fading out because of the forest being weak. And we have to somehow give the forest strength again, which we have now decided means that we have to become the queen of the fairies. So I believe that's everything that happened last episode. It was a very long Maddie section, which was a bit surprising to me because I kept waiting for the Maddie section to close and end the episode there, but it just kept going. And in the end, I had a 90-minute episode, which was the longest I've ever recorded an episode to date. So that was fun. But we'll see. We'll see how it follows now. I'm still sick. And my actual sickness has kind of gotten a little worse today compared to yesterday. So I apologize ahead of time if the voices sound off. But let's do this. Once again, we reached a grove where the fairies nest. It occurs to me that what? That is the only... Oh, there's a word missing. It occurs to me that it's the only part that seems unaffected by the forest sickness. The trees are just as vibrant as ever, and the pond just as crystal clear. We stumble into the middle, near the shore of the pond. Abigail takes several woozy steps, and I hold her shoulder to keep her steady. Then I flicker, and she starts to fall, barely managing to keep her balance. Forget days, or even hours. To find a solution, we might not even have minutes. Hello? I call out, a bit surprised that none of the fairies have come to greet us. I watch the trees and listen for the buzz and flutter of wings. But it remains silent and still. Hello? Fairies? It feels a little absurd and on the nose, but I don't know what else to say. There's no response. Please, we need your help. I might as well be shouting into the void. There's not even a single rustle. I notice that the birds who used to nest in the bushes seem to have abandoned this place. Tendrils of fear creep through me. What if the fairies are gone too? Madison? I turn towards Abigail, but she's not even looking at me. Madison? She just murmurs my name over and over. I steel myself and face forward, for her. If you can help us, I'll find you a queen. Even if it has to be me. My voice sounds stronger than I feel. There's no reaction. My heart pounds, feeling like it's going to burst out of my chest. Seconds pass. Nothing. Beside me, Abigail has fallen silent, swaying on her feet but looking as if she might collapse. All of her trust and hope has been placed in me. I can't let her down. I won't let her down. Just as I gather breath to yell out again, I start to hear a faint buzzing sound, deep in the trees. Something flickers, far away, but getting closer. I realize it's many somethings. Tiny lights spark to life, woven throughout and across the trees like Christmas lights. Those, and the growing buzzing, herald the arrival of the fairies. They burst from the trees as a swarm, nearly enough to darken the sky overhead. Like before, 3 break apart from the rest and swoop towards us. I recognize those the 3 I spoke to before, the ones named Hay, Anan, and Frio. You're back! To be queen? We've been waiting. They watched inquisitively while the rest of the swarm hover overhead. It isn't what I want. As to bet I know what being a queen would entail, much less a fairy queen. All I have is one short vision. But it's not like I have time to research or to learn. There's no time for anything else. It's this, or disappear forever, and leave Abigail to whatever fate she's suffering. Of course, that's not an option I'm even willing to consider. I put on the sternest face I can and lock eyes with the fairy in the middle. Only if you can help us. Wordlessly, the three fairies dart forward, inspecting Abigail and me. They communicate silently with each other, leaving me to wonder what they're saying and thinking. A minute later, they return to their position in front of my face. Name your terms, but are you sure? We think we know. If you make us human again and stop whatever it is that's happening to us, then I'll make sure you have a queen, whether it's me or someone else. A queen? Who else could it be? We spent so long looking. There's not much time left. For you or for us. Wait, what do you mean? What are you running out of time for? She'll make her move. Haven't you seen? The moonsick one. Moonsick. There's that word again. Moonsick one. You mean Evelyn? Evelyn. A human name? It must be her. I don't fully follow, but it's no one else they could be referring to. There's so much that I want to ask, but can't right now. How long do we have? Until the moon's at its brightest. That's when she's strongest. Will you be ready then? I'll have to be. I haven't been paying much attention to the moon, but I know that it can't be more than a week until it's full, probably less. I really wish I had Tara's stupid shirts to use as reference right now. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, I checked this between episodes to see if I was imagining it, and yes, Tara's shirt literally does become more of a full moon throughout the game. And I guess apparently it's because she actually wears shirts to match the moon. That's her brand thing. I love that. That is like the best thing. That is beautiful. Tara. In all of this, I haven't even really been considering that by becoming human again, not just a ghost, I'll be able to see her. That's at least one big upside, although I don't know where we'll even begin catching up. Still, that's something to be figured out later. Facing the fairies, I nod. Okay. We can start preparing. Are you ready? It won't take long. Yeah, I just need a moment to get ready too. The fairies slid off and rejoined the rest of their kind, not bothering to respond. That's fine by me. I turned back to Abigail, who's been silent throughout this entire thing. At first I thought maybe she passed out, but instead she's watching me with anxious eyes. Madison, are you sure? Softly, she leans against me. Well, she kind of falls. Yes, I'm sure. The fairies have all gathered near the pond, close to one of the trees. They watch us intently, ruining the chance of any private moment. I kiss Abigail's cheek and feel her nuzzle against me for just a moment. I love you, Madison. She says it with more strength than she's been able to muster so far. I love you too. We look into each other's eyes for one last moment. Then, I turn and stride towards the fairies. I don't let myself look down. I don't let my hands shake. I keep my step measured and even. I only glance back once, to where Abigail is watching me. Then Hay, Frio, and Élan descend once more. Frio loosely grips a crown of woven flowers and leaves, as out of season as the rest of this grow. I would say that it doesn't feel real, but to tell the truth, it's been a long time since anything has. Is it time? We hope it is. Just put this on. That's it? All I have to do is put on the crown? That's all for you. Is that too much? We'll do the rest. Okay. Frio hands me the crown. I let it rest on my palms. It's light, barely noticeable. The flowers are all woven together so deftly that I have to wonder if it was made by magic. It's also slightly warm, like it's just been sitting in the sun for a while. I swallow the lump in my throat. This is what's best for everyone, not just for me, or for Abigail, but for the whole forest. And with one swift motion, I reach up and place the crown on my head. It fits perfectly, as if it was made for me. I wonder if it was. The moment it touches my hair, the fairies start to move. They shatter out loud, but there are so many of them speaking that it's impossible to hear what they're saying. I don't even know if they're human words. Altogether, they sound like a forest of rustling leaves. I shut my eyes and I feel a tingling sensation. It starts at the top of my head and slowly works its way through me. It's not uncomfortable at all, but it also isn't anything ignorable. Something soft brushed against my face and hands. Feels like snow, but it isn't cold, and when it melts away there's no trace of wetness left behind. An invisible force feels like it's tugging me in every direction at once, but I stay rooted to the spot. A light scent of pine fills my nose. Somehow, it's nostalgic. I open my eyes, still in the middle of my metamorphosis. Warmth spread through my body like a hot cup of coffee, and with it comes understanding of the forest and of how I'm a part of it. I'm acutely aware of its existence, turned to its precise frequency. I imagine this must be what Abigail meant by being connected. Memories that aren't mine start to run through my head, a movie that I can't shut off. Visions of trees sprouting from the earth and growing skyward, and of clouds forming and then falling apart. Each denizen of the forest, every tree, every deer, even the forest spirit itself, come to mind at once, feeling like old friends I haven't seen in a while. None of it feels new. It's not intrusive or foreign. Rather, this knowledge feels something that's always been there, but without my awareness. Or maybe something I've forgotten. It's comfortable. And still, the fairies dance overhead, their rustling chants even louder as they perform their ritual. I wonder if all fairy queens are inaugurated this way. And at the same moment I know instinctively that they aren't. Visions of a beautiful woman, whom I immediately recognize as the missing fairy queen, come to mind, and with her comes a longing, a feeling of something missing. Then as my thoughts turn, the vision and the longing are gone too. I can feel the rustle of cloth against my skin as even my clothes acknowledge the changing, taking on a life and a form of their own. They lengthen and stretch and puff out, becoming a dress more elaborate and beautiful than anything I've ever worn before. Living, breathing flowers bloom from its hem, right before my eyes, matching the crown on my head. I feel the magic work its way through, over and around me, enveloping tightly, and then, as the ceremony comes to an end, I start to feel it drain out of me. It seeps down and out, and back into the earth and air, returning to the forest that lent me its strength and trust to take on this role. As I heave a deep breath, the enormity of the responsibility that's been placed on me feels heavy, but not unbearably so. If anything, I'm reassured by the competence and power that I can simply feel that I have. I'm not invincible, I know that much, but for the first time in ages, I feel like I'm in control. I stumble, just a little bit, as my feet touch the ground that I never knew I'd left. The instant that I do, the last of the shifting magic leaves me, although I can still feel it as a part of the forest. Without anyone saying anything, without any confirmation, I simply know, it's done. I become the Fairy Queen. Wow. Damn. Chapter 5. I have a feeling this is going to be the last chapter. I might be wrong, but that's just my personal guess right now. My first steps as the Fairy Queen are shaky. At any moment, it feels like my legs might give out from under me. Yet at the same time, I feel a strange sort of confidence and inner strength. I don't know if magic literally courses through my veins or not, but it feels that way. My next few steps as a Fairy Queen are easier. I keep my gaze fixed on Abigail as I make my way towards her. She waits impatiently, concern clearly etched up on her face. The fairies buzz agitatedly over my head, darting and dashing in pointless patterns. They don't vocalize anything. I can hear their voices clearly in my head. Our queen, welcome home. How does it feel? I acknowledge their words, and at the same time I can feel myself being acknowledged. It comes as naturally as breathing. I promise that I'll get to them in a moment. Madison, are you alright? She clings to my side, her slender arms tied around me. Though I'm not shaking anymore. Her presence is infinitely reassuring. I press my lips to her head and we sway gently back and forth. I can feel her too, as a part of the forest. Her presence is as warm and comforting in my head as in my arms. I'm fine. I'm totally fine. She makes a sound that I think is a gasp, that I soon realize is a sob. Abigail cries against my shoulder, her arms tightening like a vice. I don't ever want to let her go. I hold her as tightly as I can while her body is racked with sobs. Her breath and tears are warm, almost painfully hot. The thin lace of my new outfit does little to inhibit them. I'm so sorry that all this is happening. I'm sorry. Gently I find her hands and take them in mine. I squeeze them, trying to impart the same kind of solace that she gives to me. It's okay. Really. I'm happy things turned out this way. I'm glad that I met you, no matter the circumstances. Her cries get stronger, and I drop one of her hands in order to brush her hair back from the tear-stained face. We hold each other tightly until she's able to calm down. Meanwhile, the fairies still continue to circle overhead, although they remain respectfully silent. Finally, Abigail heaves a steady breath and steps back just a little bit. I'm sorry, again. It was just seeing you there, with the fairy light. I mean, you look beautiful. You still do. More than beautiful. But it made me realize everything that you've gone through. Everything I've put you through. I press a finger to her lips. She looks up at me, surprise replacing the sadness. It's okay. I go through all of it again to end up here with you. I mean it. Abigail sniffles heavily, and I can tell that she's trying not to cry again. You can make it up to me by getting out. You can make it up to me by getting out of all of this with me. She nods. That sounds more like a gift to me than the other way around. But I'll keep being selfish and take it. Good. I want you to be selfish. We kiss quickly and then briefly. Wow. We kiss quickly and briefly, then separate. I look up to the fairies above me, who are glad to be noticed again. Thank you for saving me like this. I owe you my life. Somehow I ended up owing my life to way more people than I ever expected to. You have 3 days to keep it. That's right, you're running out of time. We can't wait much longer. I know. I'll find a queen for you. I know that it won't be as easy as to make it sound. After meeting some of the Eisenfeld locals, I don't get the impression that any of them would be interested in the offer. Still, I have 3 days to figure it out. We'll be waiting. We know we'll see you again, with a new queen or not. The ritual finished, the fairies quickly dispersed back into the trees. I'm glad there's no more ceremony or ritual to go along with my transformation. Alone with Abigail once more, I head to the shore of the pond so that I can finally get a full glimpse of myself. I can barely recognize my own reflection. The girl staring back at me from beneath the water looks more suited to the position of queen than I expected. She looks calm and confident, like she's unafraid of whatever happens next. I hope I'm not just fooling myself. I turn this way and that, admiring my new outfit. Atop my head, the flower crown that the fairies gave me fits comfortably. I wonder if it's meant to tempt me into staying. Abigail moves closer, peering into the water with me. Our reflections next to each other serve as a visible reminder as to why I can't stay. As comfortable and satisfying as this newfound gift is, I have no desire to keep it at the cost of our freedom. I'll get us out of this. Are you ready to go? I am. Okay, first things first. We need to get in touch with Morgan and Tara. They probably know more about the mayor than we do. It'll set my mind at ease a lot. There's so much that I need to say to Tara. Even if I spent all 3 of our days just talking with her, that still wouldn't be enough time. How would we do that? Going into the village would be far too dangerous. We don't have to. We just have to get to the cabin. I flex my fingers, still acutely aware of the magical tingling. And that's easy like this. Abigail runs her fingers over mine, her skin angelically soft as always. Alright. I trust you. I curl my fingers, squeezing her hand again. Thank you. Speaking of which, there's something I think we should do. I pause a moment while she waits expectantly. Much like the way my coronation just ended, what I'm about to say seems unceremonious. I think I can return us to the physical plane too. Both of us. It takes a second for the implication to sink in, before Abigail's eyes grow wide as saucers. Madison! Are you sure? Her hand clutches her heart. Yeah, I can't explain how I know, but I just do. There's a lot of stuff that I can do now. But that way you'll be able to talk with Tara and Morgan too. And I know that we'll need all the help we can get at the end. I keep banished thoughts of what that end will be, because there's only one way that this can end, putting a stop to Evelyn once and for all. I don't need that weighing on my mind along with everything else right now. I understand. You know that I wouldn't just abandon you, Madison. I know. Abigail takes a deep breath, steadying herself. Okay. I'm ready. Silently, I step forward, taking her other hand in mine as well. I close my eyes and bow my head, and I feel her do the same. I can feel the magic course through me and out of me, spreading like vines from my fingers. It affects both me and her, taking our very forms and rebinding them to the mortal world where they belong. I can feel Abigail tense up and hear her breathing getting shallow. Still, I keep my eyes closed, willing the magic to continue working. It obeys my whims effortlessly. And then, after a minute that feels like an hour, the flow of magic slows and then stops. I open my eyes. Abigail is still there, her hands warm in mine. Her eyes slowly open as well, meeting mine. This close together, I can feel her breath warm against my face. How do you feel? A light breeze blows through. For the first time in 200 years, Abigail's gown sways in the wind. It's cold, she says and laughs, pressing herself even more tightly against me. Abigail shivers. Her teeth begin shattering within seconds of her transformation. Despite how poofy it is, her gown really isn't very warm at all. Fortunately, the chill doesn't bother me. It would make sense for a fairy queen to be susceptible to the cold. It wouldn't make sense for a fairy queen to be susceptible to the cold. But taking care of Abigail is a pressing matter. Let's go to the cabin. I can get us there quickly. She just nods, wrapping her arms tightly around herself. I hug her tightly as well, and I access the magic once again. This time, I'll use it to transport us across the forest to its very boundary where the cabin is, and where my powers stop being useful. Since the cabin and the village are technically outside of the bounds of the forest, once I step past the trees, I'll just be a regular ghost again, at least until I go back into the forest, so I can't get too far away. If Evelyn were to find out where we are, or make some move against us, I'd be powerless to stop her. Better to not give her that opportunity. Still, the transportation is smooth. It doesn't even feel like we move, instead we close our eyes in the fairy clearing, and when we open them again, the cabin is just in front of us. That is really convenient, having real life fast travel. I want that. Seeing it again strikes a pang in my heart. It feels like forever ago. I guess technically it was a lifetime ago. There's no time to get sentimental though, not when Abigail's like this. Instead, we head to the front door. Miraculously, the door is unlocked. I guess Morgan and Tara had more important things to worry about than locking up last time they were here. We rush inside, and I turn on both the lights and the heater. As warm air cranks out, Abigail's relief is palpable and immediate. She settles down onto one of the chairs, confidence outweighing even her curiosity for a moment. Better? Much. She luxuriates in the feeling, eyes closed in bliss. Her fingers absent-mindedly scrape the soft cushion of the couch, which she presses her back into. It's so soft! And she leaps to her feet, zooming towards the kitchen. She drags her fingers along every different surface as she goes, stopping to examine most of them. She rubs the edge of the counter. Madison! It's so smooth and cold! At the sink, she examines the faucets intently before spinning one of them. Cold water pours out of her hands, and she yelps in shock but quickly grins. Madison! It's like a river! Then she reaches the heater, which is pretty much keeping her alive right now. Like a cat, she basks in front of it, relishing the warmth. Each sensation seems to bring her immeasurable joy. For me, it had been a couple of weeks. For Abigail, it had been 200 years without feeling warmth or cold or textures. I watch fondly. I wish we had more time to enjoy ourselves. And more time to show her modern things, like films. I remind myself that I can't think like that. We just don't have time yet. We just have to get through this. Then we'll have all the time in the world. I'm going to get us some warmer clothes. I'll be right back. Alright. She's still plopped in front of the heater, closer than I would have thought is comfortable. Smiling, I head back into what once had been my bedroom. It's been rearranged a bit. My suitcase has been shoved into one corner, forgotten. My laptop sits atop my bed, although most of the video gear is missing. Tara and Morgan must take it with them when they left. Good thinking. I start booting up my laptop while I roll the suitcase to my bed and start sifting through my clothes. After everything I've been through, the actions feel so mundane that I have to give myself a second just to let it all sink in. Everything's been moving so fast since that night Abigail and I kissed by the water. There's hardly been a chance to breathe. Still, being back in familiar territory with familiar comforts is reassuring. It makes me feel like a human again. Something as simple as being able to push a button on my computer and watch it respond is like a little miracle that I don't think I'd ever take for granted again. Getting used to the necessities of normal life, like eating and sleeping, will definitely take some time though. Same with keeping warm. Unfortunately for Abigail, my clothes are the only option she has. They won't fit her as well, but they should be better than the nightgown she's been wearing for so long. I complete the outfit with a cute hat. I hope she likes it. Here you go. They're not the best fit, but they should at least keep you warm. Abigail hurries over and reverently takes the bundle from me. Are these your clothes? Yeah, they are. I hope that's okay. She holds the bundle to her chest. I'll treasure them. I show her to the bathroom and also explain how everything works. I have to admire her restraint and just accepting everything modern in stride. It isn't too long before she emerges once again. She holds her arms wide, the cloth hanging a little loosely from her in parts, but she's smiling. How do I look? Gorgeous. That's the word I managed to stammer out. There is a whole slew of them that would work. Call me biased, but I think my clothes look better on her than on me. Giggling, she does a slow spin, showing off more. The person who shows them has wonderful taste. Okay, so I need to point this out. First of all, this is an adorable outfit. I love the beanie cap. But the shirt is a male shirt. It's closest left over right. That's interesting. That means that Maddie buys male shirts. If you don't know, the difference between male and female cut shirts is that they close left over right instead of right over left, and they're a little differently cut in the shoulders. Some people, I mean, when I say they're male and female cut, that's the actual term used. Obviously, you should just get what fits you best. I just thought it was an interesting little detail that her shirt is a male cut shirt. As someone who wears a lot of male cut shirts for comfort reasons myself. Abigail gets comfortable in the living room while I grab my laptop from the bed. I sit down beside her, turning it so she can see. This is a computer. It can do a ton of things, but it also lets people talk via long distances. And that's how you go to contact Tara? Right. Abigail watches with rapt attention as I open a browser and wait for the painfully slow internet to load my email. There are so many different pictures and words. Don't you ever lose track of where you are? Not really. You get used to it. Surely you're being modest. I imagine very few people could operate one of these. I love her. I wish. But really, most people have one of their own, or even more than one. They're a really common part of everyday life. I see. In that case, you have to teach me. Definitely. For now, though, I'm going to send that message. How will it be transported? It's, I'm trying to think of how to explain it. Then I realized I had the perfect analogy. You know how the forest is all totally connected? Like how you can sense all the different parts of it? Abigail nods, and slowly her face gets pale. Madison? Don't tell me that modern people are connected in the same way. I can't help it, I burst out laughing. Indignantly, she waits me to finish. It takes me past the point of having tears in my eyes before I do. I can see that I was wrong. She pretends to pout, though I can see in her eyes that she's playing. I'm sorry. It's just you looked so horrified. She laughs too. Well, imagine how I feel. Apparently nothing is impossible anymore, so I simply have to assume the worst. She snuggles against me, pressing her cheek against my shoulder to show that she's only pretending to be upset. So go on. Do explain to them. It's not the people who are connected, but the machine. If you have a computer, you can send a message instantly to any other computer in the world. It's more complicated than that, but that's the easy way to put it. I see. So you're going to send a message to Tara's computer? Right. I'm going to tell her to come meet us here. I hope she'll believe it's me. I'm sure that she'll know, somehow. I nod, entering Tara's email address into the field. It feels absurdly formal to be sending an email of all things to get in touch with her. I don't think we've ever had an email conversation in our lives. I leave the subject line blank. Anything I could put there would feel comical. I don't really know how to word the rest of the message, so I don't think about it. I just put my fingers to the keys and start to type. Dear Tara, I know this is going to sound kind of hard to believe. Yeah, okay. Yo, they're doing a perspective change. Wait, are they not? I thought they were going to do a perspective change to Tara reading the email. That would have been beautiful, but it just stopped. Do I have to click again? I did. Okay. I have to click twice for that. Perspective change. Perspective change. Perspective change. Please. Aww. Aww. I was really looking forward to that perspective change. That would have been so cool. Oh well. I'm acquainting Abby with modern technology when the sound of loud voices from outside interrupted mid-sentence. Well, one very obnoxiously loud voice. So we even skipped past her reading it. See, it would have worked perfectly. That would have been such a cool transition. Well, I only know one person who can make a racket like that. I grab Abigail's hand and lead her out of the living room just in time to hear Tara and Morgan reach the door. Tara, stop for a second. We don't know for sure this isn't a trap. Yeah, but what if it's not? I can't take the chance. I'm going in. Tara, wait. The door flies open so hard it bangs against the wall. Tara freezes in the doorway, probably not expecting me to be right here. Or maybe even here at all. Hey. Everything I had rehearsed and planned to say in my head is forgotten in an instant. Somehow this feels more unreal than anything else so far. I never had the time to doubt any of the stuff that happened to me. I had plenty of time to doubt that I'd see Tara again. Tara's mouth flaps up and down like a nutcracker statue. I don't think she formed a single coherent word. Morgan approached from behind and placed a protective hand on Tara's shoulder, which seemed to reset her. She rubs her eyes as she stares at me. Either she doesn't believe what she's seeing, or she's about to cry. Maybe both. You changed your look a little bit, huh? When she finally speaks, her voice shakes like crazy. You like it? Tara gives me a slight nod. It makes you look like a total nerd. Without another word, she bursts into tears. She doesn't even hesitate a moment before bounding forward like an excited, tear-stained racing dog. I spent so long worrying about her that seeing her safe and sound in the flesh is almost too much to handle. There are so many things that were left unsaid and unresolved. I'm just glad that there's time to fix that now. I thought you were dead. Me too. We had both burst into laughter, still punctuated with sobs. But at least we both have the clarity of mind to tell that this hug has gone on for far too long. When we split apart, she has a big dumb grin on her big dumb face. Welcome back, Matt! Good to be back, Tara. Our reunion over, Morgan finally steps forward, taking Tara's hand in her own. She smiles at me, her expression soft for once. Hey, Maddie. It's good to see you again. Her voice is as calm as ever, but a wide, genuine smile on her face tells me that these last couple of weeks have changed her as much as they changed me. You too, Morgan. I feel like I should say something more than that, but I know neither of us is much for words. It's nice to have someone else around that feels the same way for once. Before anything else, there's someone I'd like to introduce you to. I turn to gesture for Abigail, but at first she's nowhere to be seen. Then I spot a familiar flash of pink and purple lingering by my bedroom door. Right. We spent so long together I'd forgotten how timid she was when we first met. Her eyes are wide as she wrings her hands, looking from me to Tara and back. Tara and Morgan look just as shocked once they notice her. I head over to where Abigail is and take her hand. They're okay, I promise. She nods, letting herself be led back into the living room. Tara, Morgan, I'd like you to meet Abigail. I pause for a moment. She's my girlfriend. Whoa! We do have a lot to catch up on! She turns to face Abigail. I'm Tara. I've been friends with Maddie for forever. It's nice to finally meet you, Tara. I've heard a lot about you. Hell yeah! All good things, I hope. Mostly? I'll take it. Morgan steps forward too. Morgan. Nice to meet you. Abigail nods politely. You as well. So, let's sit down. We got a lot of catching up to do, and not a whole lot of time to do it. The four of us move to the couch and sit down. Right as we do though, there's a loud grumble from beside me. Abigail clutches her stomach, looking absolutely mortified. What was that? What's happening? Oh yeah, we should probably eat something. Eat? Her eyes light up. That's right! I'm hungry! Morgan and Tara look baffled. I can't blame them for that one. Like I said, long story. Is there anything to eat? It's been a long time since either of us have had a meal. I'll make us some breakfast. Cross your fingers for pancake mix. God, being unable to eat for 200 years and getting pancakes, that's the perfect start to life again, I would say. Anyway, I think that's everything. Minus the really juicy stuff, anyway. I'm okay with not hearing about that, thanks. Abigail, now finally finished with her meal, wraps her arm around mine and rests her head against me. Morgan sighs and sends Tara me a meaningful look. She rinses and clears her throat. Abigail, would you mind coming with me for a minute? Morgan's voice carries a more serious tone that feels like a sudden departure from our light-hearted reminiscing. I know it couldn't last forever, but I'm hopeful we can return to it soon. Is something wrong? No, not at all. But there's something we need to talk about. And besides... She looks at Tara, and then over to me. Her tone might be serious, but her soft expression makes it clear she's not about to deliver any bad news. These two might need a bit of privacy. I nod at her as Abigail let go of my arm. With a quick kiss on her cheeks, she stands and walks to Morgan's side. The two of them head towards the bedrooms, leaving Tara and I to stare at each other in silence. We look away from each other awkwardly as I try to think of what to say. Should I speak first? Should I wait for her? What do I say? She knows how much I missed her, but there was so much tension between us before I died. I never had a chance to apologize for hiding Abigail or for how I handled telling her I was going to quit. I take a deep breath and raise my head. I just need to go for it. I've spent enough time waiting to speak. Whatever happens, happens. I'm sorry. That's the best I can do that. I can't do two voices at the same time. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. It was really shitty of me to. We both sat our mouth shut again. Tara's face reddens as she chuckles softly. Maybe we should take turns. As long as you don't mind going first. She takes a long, overly dramatic breath and closes her eyes. I know I was shitty to you about leaving. I should have listened to you and accepted it instead of being all bitter and passive-aggressive. And I know it's even shittier once we got evidence. I shouldn't have frozen you out like that. Maybe a bad choice of words there, Tara. I mean, I shouldn't have ignored you the way I did. I want you to be part of Paranormal. I really do. Trying to exclude you was stupid and impulsive. She looks me right in the eyes, and I can tell her typical bravado is gone. This is pure, naked honesty. It's hard enough for me to manage something like that, much less her. She's really put her heart into this, and I'm more than grateful for that. By the way, Tara's shirt. I mentioned how the moon grows bigger. There are some mistakes in the game though. There have been times where the moon has been flipped around. That was another thing I kept telling myself that no, I'm probably just seeing things. I probably just forgot which way it was. But no, in fact, in this scene, the scene right now which we are in, when Tara first entered, the moon shirt was flipped the other side. So I think that's a bit funny. Well, this is over. Whatever you decide to do, I won't stand in your way. You know I always want to be part of Paranormal, but you gotta be your own person. And you're my best friend. Thinking I might have lost you forever made me realize that I honestly have no idea what I'd do without you. I give you a lot of shit, but I really do love you. And I'm so sorry all this happened because I was too much of a screw-up to remember that. Tara exhales and slumps back in her chair as if the act of apologizing drained all the energy in her body. She's grown so much in the short time we've been here. Then again, so have I. I need to make sure I show her the same sincerity in return. I'm sorry too, Tara. Even if I was mad, I shouldn't have hidden Abigail from you. It made things worse for both of us, and drove us apart when we should have been getting closer than ever. More than that, I shouldn't have set this whole thing off into motion the way I did. The memory of a fight back home is painful, but I can't keep trying to run away instead of dealing with it head on. It's not fair to either of us. I shouldn't have told you I was thinking about leaving and why I was thinking it. I should have talked things over with you instead of dropping the bomb on you right before we left. When I thought I was going to be stuck here forever, I realized you were the person I'd miss more than anyone else. Even more than my family. I don't know what I'm going to do when we get back. I still have a lot to figure out, but I do know whatever happens, we'll always be best friends. Mads, As she struggles to think of what to say next, I gently put my arms around her in a reassuring hug. We've said enough for now. She hugs back. Squeezing a bit too hard, we stay that way until it starts to get awkward, as hugs between us tend to do. I pull away and sit back down, a bit embarrassed. So, are we good? I let out a deep breath, releasing the anxiety that's been twisting my stomach in knots. Whatever happens next, then it'll be easier without that dragging me down. Yeah, I think we're good. Are we good enough for me to start calling you the ghost with the most? Don't push it. And we're doing a perspective change, and that's where we're going to end this episode. I know, shorter than the last episode, but last episode was 90 fucking minutes. So yeah, let's do this tomorrow. This is awesome. I can tell we're getting towards the end now, and it's great. I love it. I love this game. I love it so much.